What's going on YouTube? Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. My name is James. This is Home Remedy Fitness. Got a good one in the books today. We're looking at a 24-minute Tabata. It's gonna be kettlebells, full body. We're hitting all the movement plans. I don't know if it was me getting over a cold or this was a terrible workout, but it's a tough one for sure. So buckle up, grab your water, grab your mat, grab what you need to get before we hop into it. It's pushing, pulling, power, core. We got it all today for us. What I'm working with today, I have a 45-pound and a 65-pound. Get those reps in. We're working for 40 seconds, resting for 20 seconds, 24 minutes in entirety. If you haven't subscribed, do so you're not missing any workouts that come up. In the future, you'll be notified for those. If this is your first time, welcome aboard, appreciate y'all. If you are unfamiliar with these movements, go ahead, jump to the back, we'll dissect them. We'll have those videos going over everything for you. If you are a return customer, appreciate the continued support. Try to do good by us, try to keep this video up and running for y'all, appreciate it. That's enough of me talking. Let's go ahead, get into it. See you on the other side. All right, let's do it.
I'm falling on my knees to pray. Loving you is spiritual. You're a little miracle. When I'm with you, I found my faith. Yeah, you do something to me. You do something. I'm falling on my knees to pray. Loving you is miracle. I'm a little miracle. When I'm with you, I found my faith. Yeah, you do something to me. You do something. You, I found my faith. Yeah, you do something to me. You do something, something,
up, people? That was tough, man. I'm getting over a cold myself, so that was my first time back in a couple of days. If that didn't sweat out whatever demons were laying inside me, I don't know what will. But good job to you if you made it all 24 minutes. That was very productive. 24 minutes right there for sure. Making some ugly faces. I was dying. My legs were wobbly. I don't know how y'all were feeling. Let me know in the comments what you liked, what you didn't like. Subscribe if you haven't already. This way you're not gonna miss any workouts coming up. We'll keep this train rolling. If you think a buddy of yours would really get down on this workout, go ahead, send that to them. Quick and easy, get in, get out, be able to enjoy the rest of your day outside of the gym. Because I know I don't like being in a big box when it's nice and sunny out. So like I said, like, subscribe, comment if there's something you liked. If you didn't like, we'll try and fix it moving forward for you. So yeah, we'll keep this train rolling. Catch y'all next week, all right? Checking out a great variation to a lunge pattern. This one is going to be with a kettlebell. So if we're hitting the lower body, we're hitting the lunges, knee dominant, getting the glutes, getting the hamstrings involved. This is a goblet alternating reverse lunge. Goblet meaning it's in the front rack position. We're gonna have one of our kettlebells. So let's go ahead, let's grab it by the horns. Let's get it up in that front rack. Horns can be just about below your chin. So it's nice and tight. We got vertical forearms, keeping it nice and close to the body. We're not letting it fall forward, not letting our chest fall down. So everything nice and upright. Create some space between the shoulders and the ears. Activate our lower traps, activate our lats, pull everything down, create a nice strong shelf for the front portion of our positioning, alternating between our lunges. So let's go ahead, let's take a step back. We're still gonna maintain about shoulder width apart. We're not getting too long and letting that leg, get stretched out and elongated. So ideally, when we take that step backwards, our bottom knee is gonna be below our hips, underneath our shoulders, underneath our spine. So everything is nice in a straight line as we step backwards, almost as a pillar as we're going back. Sure, you have seen other gym goers, maybe even yourself, you take a step back and immediately you kinda, falling forward, letting that weight take your chest for a ride, or maybe we're off center and our knees are wobbling. Just be mindful of that. Nice straight line as we step back. So that's our bottom leg, that's the positioning for that one. For the front knee, we're being mindful of where that one is tracking. So if we have our knee collapse inwards, that's a tall tale sign that our abductors are not turning on. Our adductors might be a little bit shortened and weak. If we're having that thing come forward, knee valgus, we don't want that. So trying to maintain good pressure on the outside, really turn on that glute med, make it work on the outside. And then if we are maybe a little shallow on our step, when you take that step backwards, that front knee might protrude past our toes. So that's another thing to be mindful of. That's going to irritate your patella tendon, really give you a hard time. Over time, that could add up and give you a lot of stress in your knee. So just be mindful of where our feet are, where our knee placement is, and that's the lunge pattern. So as we step back upwards, trying to drive hard through that front heel, think of pulling yourself forward as opposed to stepping forward, if that makes sense. So really activating your hamstrings, your glutes, everything to pull that body back into the start position. And once we get back to the start position, we're just gonna alternate sides. So nice and strong, pillar-like, shoulders down, chest upright, and that'll be our goblet alternating reverse lunge. Good variation of a pulling movement. So I'm sure we've done bent over rows, whether it's chest supported, dumbbell supported, kettlebell supported, gorilla rows. We've had a lot of variations of a bent over row on this channel. This one in particular, we're gonna be utilizing our B stance. So the reason why we're doing this is just creating a little bit more instability throughout our body, asking our core to stabilize just a little bit more, and creating more space on that pulling side. If we're stacked over it, or maybe we're working with a gorilla row, we might bang it to our knee, we might look at our thoracic spine to rotate more to create space for that full pulling movement. With our B stance, we got the whole open lane going on. So on the pulling side, we're gonna have that leg back in the B stance positioning. So your rear foot, that toe wants to be in line with the front heel. So we're still gonna be about shoulder width apart, just staggered a little bit, creating some space, creating some instability like what I was saying, and just pulling upwards. What we are not looking for is shrugging. We don't wanna be swinging. We don't wanna be rotating too much out of the way. So trying to, if we have headlights on our hips and on our shoulders, they're gonna be facing the ground. We're not spinning them around every which way. We're trying to stay level, trying to stay intact the entire time as we go about this movement. So let's pull with our elbow, keeping our shoulder pinned down, bringing it up to our back pocket. We're not getting too far forward and letting that shoulder roll forward, right? So retract that scapula, keep the shoulder pinned down, engage our lats, pull hard through the elbow into our pocket. That's a good B stance bent over row right there. And we're just alternating between the two. Big pull, exhale on the way up, inhale on the way down. Great power movement, great proprioceptive movement. We're gonna be getting a hinge pattern in there. So we got the hamstrings, we got the glutes, overhead stability, the whole nine right here. So a full body kettlebell movement. This is an alternating B stance swing snatch. I'm sure we've discussed the B stance in previous videos. If you're unaware, if this is your first time here, B stance is just gonna be a staggered stance. So the rear foot on the working side, if we're working contralaterally, the leg that's back is the hand that you're working with, right? So that rear foot, those toes want to be in line with the front foot's heels. So just offset a little bit. We're not moving into a lunge pattern. We're not getting too wide. Still staying about shoulder width apart. So let's move into our snatch now. So let's, situate ourselves maybe 2-3 inches behind that kettlebell. So that initial pull from the ground and that like dead start position, we're getting a little bit of momentum because we got to pull the kettlebell our way. So we got a slight bend in the knees, that rear foot, that heel's gonna be up off the ground, hinging at the hips so the butt is going back. Pull that thing. When it gets to that terminal point, chest is falling down, that kettlebell is going back about as far as we can let it go, almost slapping your backside. That's when we are gonna extend the hips, that's when we're gonna drive through that front heel, and that's when we are pulling that thing upwards. So I've discussed previously the way I kind of look at a snatch. We can take ourselves back to, middle school or when you were at a water slide when you were younger. They have that pole right above the slide. Let's pull ourselves underneath it. We want that extra oomph to go down the slide. That's what we're picturing when we do our snatch. So we're holding it by the horn of that kettlebell. Let's throw ourselves up underneath it. So as opposed to just lifting the kettlebell up, pull upwards, yes, but also you're throwing your body underneath. So we're catching it with a soft bend in the knees, pushing up vertically as soon as we are at that transition point from going up to underneath, catching it up at that upright position, keeping our shoulder pinned down. We're not getting all cockeyed, letting our hips fly up out of the way. Yeah, staying strong, pushing upwards. We don't want to get shruggy. We're going to create space in the shoulder, keep it healthy up there. Then we're going to alternate sides. So if you are comfortable going from that top overhead positioning down into that swing, be my guest, you can do that. If we are a little bit weary, you can go into the front rack position and then down into that swing. So whatever your fitness level is, however comfortable you are in these positions, find one that works for you, and then we're going to be alternating sides. So we're not going into that dead start position like what we did with the initial swing. So if we're coming from that overhead position, we're going to go down into that B stance, the same one we started with, swing upwards, and now when it's at that central point, that's when we switch our feet. The kettlebell is going to be weightless, switch our feet, get your timing right, then we're going to alternate, get a snatch on the other side. Just be mindful here, especially in that transition between the two, bopping your knees, hitting your pelvic region. Don't want any of that. We're not trying to get injured. Can't see it on the video, but I have a good sized golf ball, purple and blue, from swinging these and hitting my knee, just kind of spacing out. So just be mindful of that. It does happen. Trying to avoid any medical visits, right? Just stay strong, big in the hips, and watch the hand placement. Good swings, good for metabolic conditioning. This is our B stance swing snatch. Checking out an upper body movement, it'll be a plyometric kettlebell push-up. So if we're looking to generate a little bit more power in our pressing movements, this is the one for you. Also gonna be testing, core stability, proprioception as we are alternating sides between the two. And it gives you a little bit of variation. You can do a modified push-up, you can just do an offset push-up. But for today, we're doing the plyometric one. We're going a little crazy with this one. So let's situate ourselves back on our kettlebell. We're gonna have a little bit wider feet positioning than what we typically would do for a push-up, because we do want that stability as we go up onto one arm for the transition. So go a little bit wider. That's going to create a larger foot base, a little bit more stability for you. So as we go down, just as you would a regular push-up, be mindful of the arm that's on the kettlebell side. We don't want this going on. So stay nice and strong, retract our scapula. If we are lacking that mobility to get down deep into that pressing, go to a distance that works for you. We don't want to, protract like crazy, let that thing roll forward and set ourselves up for injury later down the line. Find a position that works for you, get down to that depth, and then boom, press up as fast as you can, as hard as you can. Try to get a little bit of air, some distance between the hand and the ground for you, and then we're going to switch over to the other side. So you can do it as quickly as you want. You can do one smooth pass, you can kind of do a walkover, you can do a press, and then two hands, whatever fitness level, whatever tempo that you got going on today, you do that one, you find that one that works for you. Just be mindful if you are doing the first one, not to knock that kettlebell over. It's a little uneven up there if you're, bopping around and switching hands all crazy. Going, alternating sides, looking maybe for your hips to be swiveling, for your shoulders to be swiveling, just trying to fire up your core, squeeze your glutes, make sure everything is nice in alignment as we're going through from side to side. So alternating kettlebell, plyo push-up. great full body movement. We're gonna be hitting our lower body. We're gonna be getting some power activation, glutes, core with that front rack position, quads, traps, shoulders. We're getting it all right here. It's a two-hand clean into a squat. So if we are, let's go a little bit heavier. This is definitely a power movement. We're looking to move a little bit of weight here. So let's stack ourselves over our kettlebell. Make sure the horns right in the middle of our feet in line with our big toes. Gonna have a soft bend in the knees, hips are back, chest is up, shoulders are down, right? Nice compact unit as we approach that kettlebell, and then we're gonna go through a deadlift variation for the first portion of this lift. So if we're holding it by the horns of the kettlebell, what we are using is that deadlift mechanic to get it up off the ground into that clean. So we're digging hard into the heels, we're squeezing the glutes, extending the hips, bringing them forward. Simultaneously, we're working the upper body as it's coming off the ground. We're gonna pull hard through the elbows. We don't wanna get shruggy like that, but we're pinning it down. We're using those shoulders, using those traps, getting them up. At the highest point, soft grip on the bell. We're wrapping around, grabbing it by the horns yet, moving into that front rack position. Vertical forearms, again, shoulders down, chest up, engaging our lats, engaging our lower traps, making sure our chest isn't falling forward from that heavy load, right? Really squeezing onto that thing, moving into a squat. So again, chest up, knees out. If you can picture construction paper between our feet, trying to rip that thing apart. So weight is on the blades of our feet, really focusing on forcing those knees out. We don't want any valgus, we don't want the knees coming together. Forcing everything out, standing up strong, and then moving directly back into that start position. So we got a clean, a squat, we got some power like what I was saying, and just all around great full body movement. Around the world, this is a fun one. It's a great movement to get away from crunches. I'm not the biggest fan of crunches and what it does to our spine over time, you know. I feel like the fitness industry is so obsessed over doing crunches and sit-ups. But that's another video. This is around the world. This is a kettlebell movement. It's excellent for core stability, proprioception, a little bit of a metabolic output. And if you have ADD or short attention span, this is a great one, because it's keeping you engaged, giving you that stimuli to be moving and focused on the kettlebell. It really helps you sink into the body. So with this one here, we're trying to be a pillar, trying to be as stable as we can. We are generating force and resisting force of the kettlebell. So as we rotate, we're using our lats, using our shoulders. We are getting a little bit of upper body movement to get that thing up and swanging. As we are here, we're not letting that kettlebell take us for a ride. You know, we're not doing any dancing, trying to stay as stable as we can and let that kettlebell move around us. It's really neat to bring attention to how your core reacts to the force moving around. That stimulus as it, you know, goes around that kettlebell, you're gonna feel your core react to stabilize on the opposite side. So it's on your right, your left core, obliques and everything kind of turn on, your erectors, which is fun. It's a good movement here for us. It teaches our core dynamic stabilization as we move about. We were doing this for time, or maybe we're switching sides throughout. This is an excellent time to decelerate, right? So now we're really using our core to slow down the kettlebell, and then we're generating force again as we get it going in the opposite direction. Yeah, core stabilization, everything around the core, not just the frontal anterior portion. We're getting the erectors, we're getting the stabilizers of quadratic laborum, if you will. So everything on that posterior side, stabilizing the spine, which is great. Often neglected as far as core work. We're using the front side, and that, you know, yields lower back injuries and imbalances and everything. So definitely an excellent movement. Hit all portions of our core around the world.